states of consciousness. Okay, mind-blowing information that he's brought back. So now maybe some of us are familiar with Terence McKenna. And Terence McKenna, he did a lot of conveying his experiences with the mushroom into language that we could, kind of get with Phil and kind of get a piece of his experience. So he spoke about taking 5 dry grams alone in the dark. And we're going to touch on why that's important, right? So the 5 grams was considered a heroic dose. Well, Kalini Yi bypassed that and, went further and further into this thing. Up to 50 documented dry grams of psilocybin mushrooms. And what he brings back is truly amazing. Okay, life changing. I'm not saying go do 50 grams. That's not what I'm saying. But what he wanted to do was talk to a certain type of person that wants to dive deeper into the mystery of life, consciousness, and explore there. And that's where so he always continued to push the envelope to go deeper. Now, a lot of people would say, why would you even need to do that much? Right? And what he realized was people heard of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but he was introducing the search for infoparticle intelligence. Infoparticle meaning smaller than this first thing on the element chart, which is hydrogen. So going on the other side of hydrogen down into the very small that produces this physical reality that we are experiencing. But we ain't going to go too deep into that, because a lot of people, how many people here have communed with mushrooms? Okay. So, all right, good. All right. Good. All right, so when we're not going to go into the subatomic, but that's a whole nother field. But this is the man that was the Morpheus in my life that, if y'all watch Matrix, he pretty much introduced something that I've been looking for my whole life. It's no bottom. I can explore as much and as deep and as far as I'm willing to go within myself to understand who and what we are. Okay? So, panspermia, right? So this is a theory about asteroid hitting the Earth, right? A long time ago, right? Which brought spores to the planet. Now we're talking about mushrooms, but mushrooms is the fruiting body and the reproductive and carrier of information for the actual organism. The organism is underground mycelial network, right? The mycelium is underground. So when these spores got here, they were able to, we remember in science class, we talked about single cell organisms. This is single cell organisms, amoeba, and all these things, right? So the spores, they come from space. Like they do this everywhere they go. This is what they do. They evolve a life on wherever they go, right? They like the masters of barter community networking. So they come here, right? Suitable environment. So what do? They break down rock, extract minerals, formulate soil for plant life to eventually develop, right? And it's able to network and see what amoeba needs, what the water plants may need to eventually get to the land. What so they weave networks to share nutrients and things that each plant life needs, right? You need phosphorus? All right, bet. I can get you some phosphorus. You got some sugar? All right, bet. Let me go get that for you. Boom. Hey, look, I got a guy that needs them. You know what I'm saying? And it's just networking. So they refer to the mycelium as the central nervous system of the planet. Mind you, side note, it does this everywhere. Okay? And if anybody here watched Star Trek, right? When they talking about traveling through warp speed and all these speed, and then eventually they say, well, we can just travel the mycelial network. The mycelial network is the ultimate organic Wi-Fi. Okay? So for millions and millions of years, over 400 million years, the mycelium has been here working, setting up stuff, right? All the way to where we at now. And then even in destruction periods where we hear about the floods and the different things like that that happen catastrophic on the earth, we see that the mycelium was still here. Okay, so it's witnessing. This is an intelligence, right? It has to be. It has to be an intelligence in order for it to operate in this type of fashion. It wants to spread. It wants to connect with you. You know what I'm saying? And it wants to expand what we are. That's what it does. It expands, right? Let's look at what a mushroom does. Mushrooms break down dead matter or maybe something that's not as useful, right? And then turn it into something that is able to grow and expand. Y'all with me? Okay. So, okay. Where I want to go. Alright. So, let's go to hunter-gatherers, right? Hunter-gatherers were, you can imagine, hunting and gathering, right? Back in those times. Right, well, caveman type times, right? Like people is like looking for food. They don't got time to do anything because they got to be watching their back. They want to eat. They want to reproduce, and pretty much hunt, stuff like that, right? So they come across the mushroom from the cow dung, right? Because cows. These animals, these huge animals, they cow pies, right? The feces of the cattle, right? And then mushrooms grow from this. And if you're hunting and looking for food, then you would be like, you know what I'm saying? Because mushrooms look kind of mysterious, right? You're like, man, hold up. Let me see something. So when they did this eventually developed them to have an advantage now, right? Because they didn't link with this intelligence, so now they able to see further, they able to see and connect with their environment. You know what I'm saying? So now they have a way to hunt better, a way to find food better, a way to find medicine in nature right around them. You know what I'm saying? Even though they might not have been into medicine, but you know what I'm saying? Eventually they evolved into that. So you had some people that would follow these herds because they like, man, you know what? I want that same experience. I like eating this. You know what I'm saying? So the cow, you can see how the cow could become kind of important. You know what I'm saying? The cow can become important. Huh?
The holy cow.
Exactly. Exactly. As a matter of fact, the cow is sacred in multiple cultures across the world. Multiple cultures. Is in Egypt, right? It's in India. All these places, even in Mesoamerica, all these places, you see common themes. And the common themes are the cow, and other iconography of uh, bird type beings, these etches of cattle on cave rocks that go back 17,000 years ago, right? Cave art is something that really brings to light that this mushroom ingestion is ancient. They have found, archaeologists have found places in caves in Tassili Plateau, different places around the world where they have mushroom head people like drawn on the wall. Now let's just think for 1 second. You went from hunting and gathering to contemplating and drawing. That's a bit of a leap. That's a bit of a leap, right? So once again, this is evidence of some sort of evolution that took place there. You know what I'm saying? And this thing does not stop. They eventually brought back pyramid structures, these different structures in India, right? These, I mean, so intricately put together, right? Down in South America, Peru, the Mayans, the Olmec, all these people, Stonehenge, and I got pictures. This is not, we not, you know, I don't know. We can get to the pictures, but while we just rolling, we just gonna roll. All right, as long as y'all with me. But when you see the images, they really bring it out in your mind. Like, whoa, this was way back then. You know what I'm saying? They even was drawing people with like clothes on, with like shoes on. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, how did they? What was they seeing? And the good part is that we know that it's coming from the mushroom because it's over here in this part of the world, and then it's over here in this part of the world. They ain't have no cell phones. They weren't just like, yo, let me WhatsApp my man and let him know, yo, man, we seen some bird head people. You know what I'm saying? But even in the Hopi tribe, you got people with the bird feathers, right? Then you got people in Egypt on the walls, Osiris, Isis, Heru, all these different beings with bird type. So what is this about? This is things that they were encountering while in these sojourns. They developed civilizations. They developed technology from the ingestion of these mushrooms. Some of these things that we look at as mystery, right? And we like, wow, what is this? How did they even know to, let's just build a pyramid right here. No, they built it in a specific spot, connected to the Orion's belt. And so these people, when they looked up the Dogon tribe of Africa, they was like, well, damn, they got the same, they got maps before NASA got maps. And then when you look even closer, you see that NASA even used some of their symbolism as they develop in NASA. But the common theme that we see is that when these people do stuff like that, they don't give credit to what we look at as primitive civilizations or these people that's out in the jungle, like in Peru, these places. These people are out in the jungle and they have thousands of plant medicine in their pharmacopoeia, right? They drew things and weave fabrics with these designs in them, right? And then when you look at how an atom and stuff looks under the microscope, you're like, wait a minute, how was they able to view something that we can only view with a microscope, but they was able to view it and relay it in their art. These were things that they were bringing back because they was going down to, like what we talked about, they were going down into subparticle realms, DNA. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, mushrooms affect our DNA. Okay, it is a mnemonic device of remembering, right? Scientists say that we have junk DNA because they don't understand what it's for. Now, what was the code for the codes for DNA is AC. What was it? Right, ACGT. Right. So now you can imagine these characters. These characters being formulated in different arrangements as code, like a computer. This is organic technology that we're talking about. Okay, so um, everything in life has DNA codes to it. It's using the same script, but in different formats of the way that it comes out. Okay, so now scientists say that we have junk DNA, but what I've uncovered in my own uh, adventures with the sacred is these things are memory of millions of years. Like, I mean, if we want to even put years on it, time to me is totally different now. But to make it comprehensible, you know what I'm saying? Our DNA goes back millions of years. The codes that's in there, the genetic memory, all of those things are in there. Lifetimes of information and experience is in our DNA that is unlocked with this sacred fruit, the mushroom. In Mexico, they call the mushroom Teonacatl, right? And Teo is referring to a omnipotent divine intelligence that's interwoven in everything, right? Teo. And then Teonacatl is meaning that the mushroom is the actual flesh of God. This was the beginning of religion. The beginning of religion is people in a group taking this sacred mushroom and relaying their experiences to the people. And then people that don't take it hear the stories, they gain the wisdom, and then they pass it on. Some of the things that we do now, like meditation, yoga, any of these things like that, like with these stretches, with yoga, mudras, and stuff like that, right? This stuff comes out of the mushroom. Martial arts comes out of the mushroom. Okay? How do I know that? So, when I was a novice, just beginning with this thing, I said, okay, I'm reflecting on my journey and I'm like, wow, like, I was stretched in this posture for such a long time. And then I moved this way, and then I found another posture, almost as if my body already knows how to do this stuff, right? And what it's doing is actually healing. These things is healing. It's releasing things from you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's an intelligence that's embedded that gets awakened in a remembrance. So you go from studying and reading all your information to having firsthand experiences with an organic technology that you can converse with. An organic technology that connects you. Not connects you. An organic technology that brings your awareness to your connection. Let me say that again. This is an organic technology that awakens your remembrance of your connection to divine intelligence. Okay? Alright, do we got any questions right now? No questions right now? Everybody with me, right? Okay. So as they doing this, they're mapping these things out. They find these postures, these hand movements, and they charting these things. Why? Because they gained information that now they get to utilize in their everyday life, you know what I'm saying, to do yoga. Then yoga becomes a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Now I got three postures the last time. Now I got three more, and then the completion. And you can feel what it's like. But let me go back. So my own experience in the beginning with working with mushrooms was I did 5 grams in the dark. Okay? And doing this 5 grams, which seemed like the entry level the entry level for like beyond, ooh, that looks pretty, you know what I'm saying? It goes deeper, you know what I'm saying? And so I take this thing, I'm laying in my bed, I'm following the guidance, the instructions, right? Kalindi he had a protocol, right? And the protocol was no music, all this light and all of that stuff. No, you don't want no distractions. There's music already in there. There's lights, you're gonna see everything you need to see, right? It's already in there. So I go in to my journey and I'm thinking like I'm about to go somewhere and all this, you know, I'm like, I want to, like the stories that I hear about. Well, it was a little bit different. I seen my whole life. My whole life was laid out, moment by moment, all these intricate details in the form of like movies, right? It was like bring it up, boom. Now I'm watching a situation where somebody may have said something to me that really crushed me, but I get to see it from a bird's eye view, and from that view, I don't have an emotional attachment to it. So I'm able to watch it all the way through, and then I see the significance in what just took place. Yeah, this person hurt my feelings, crushed my self-esteem, whatever, and then I go to, you know, so now from that situation, now I'm on another path. It's to, you know, change my direction or the way that I'm showing up in life. You know what I'm saying? So everything leads to another moment, which leads to another moment. Right? So that thing, I needed to happen. And it became the most beautiful pain. Because I could see it not from my egoic, oh, they did this to me, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, I needed that. Because later, that was something I had to heal from, and now I got the medicine to help this person. And then, you see what I'm saying? It's like a ripple effect, but everything is so interwoven, just like the mycelium. Everything is working in this amazing fashion, like all of y'all right here, right now. Everything is happening in such an amazing fashion.
So I don't know if you're gonna get here, but you saw past situations. Did you also see future?
Right. So what I seen was the progression of my life, like up until this point, up until the point of the journey. And so it was showing me how these hurtful things, how these things that I thought was a setback, getting in trouble, going to, you know what I'm saying? All the things, getting kicked out of school, you know, all these different things. But all of it was a part of something that allowed me to see life different. I never could just fit in the groove and just, all right, I'm going to school. All right, you know, it's time to get a job. Okay, I couldn't just go there. It was just like, this is not right. We're on a planet, paying bills, floating in the middle of space. Stop playing with me. We paying for water. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? Like, it just did not seem like this is real to me. Like, I cannot get into it. So I was getting in trouble and going against the grain and just like, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? But all of it was a part, because it also showed me how I was able to observe by not going to work and all that stuff. I'm sitting back smoking and chilling. I'm able to see, like, damn, people go to work and come home like clockwork. Like we like robots damn near. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at mushroom again, right? So the mushroom breaks down structures, right? That's no longer useful, right? To make it something that is useful for the whole. So those rigid constructs that we have of like what life is and what we supposed to, I gotta do this, I gotta do, you know what I'm saying? Autopilot. Autopilot. And the mushroom disrupts that. The mushrooms disrupt that. To be able to look at things deeper. You know what I'm saying? Now, to expound on something that you just said, okay? So, from Kalindi, Yee, right, and my other teacher, Acacia, one of his students, right, they spoke about pairing the mushroom with crystal technology. Using a crystal, right, with a high dose of mushrooms, which was something that I worked up to over years. And remember we talked about the mycelium underground, so it has a relationship with crystals as well, because it was, communicating with them. So anyway, it's just for that. So I have taken a journey and worked with my crystal and activated the crystal. What I mean by activated, it came on. Like your computer comes on. Crystal technology, when you go back to Atlantean times and stuff like that, they were using crystal technology for the storage devices for, it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? But they are computers. The structure of what makes a crystal is a quantum, it's like a quantum computer handheld room temperature. I don't know if you're familiar with what quantum computers are, right? But a very, very fast, very, very out of the box computer that can pretty much do anything, right? It can calculate beyond your imagination. So nature has this technology. And with the use of mushrooms, with this crystal, I was able to go to the future. Anytime that you're anytime that you're communing with the mushroom, yeah, you become multi-dimensional and you are able to communicate with your future self. We call it our higher self, but it's really like a quantum self, right? Because your higher self is guiding you to become it. To get to where you're, going, right? And so the same way like people do healing and they say go back to your inner child when you were 6 and this traumatic thing happened and then now hug yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because you're that's the advancements in technology of what we are. We can go back and heal our inner child. We can do that. You know what I'm saying? And with the mushroom, yeah, I was able to see into a time period where we remembered that mushrooms, crystals, and various other objects and things are part of our organic technology that was way surpassed ChatGPT and the internet and stuff that we got now. However, ChatGPT and all of that is bringing us up to speed by being a mirror for us and pulling information out, you know what I'm saying, from us and stuff like that. And it's a good model because when you're working with the organic technology, you can treat it the same. My lady was the first, she let me see that by we in a journey and we started communicating, and I was just sitting back learning as we ask a question, and then boom, she comes right back, just like a computer. Access. That's what this is. This is access. How many people heard of the Akashic Records? Great. Now let me drop this. The Akashic Records That word is a play on acacia. The acacia is a DMT, dimethyltryptamine, containing tree in ancient Egypt that they mixed with the Syrian rue to make an ayahuasca type brew where the priests would go into the higher realms or higher dimensions, access this information. So Akash or Acacia is also acacia, and the DMT compendium of information is the records. It opens up the records to everything. Now, whether or not you got clearance is dependent on your DNA evolution, like where your DNA is and what type of codes and stuff is in your DNA is what you can unlock with this mushroom. But it's activation and it's expanding us into the next thing. Because, like I said, when I seen was that the mushroom was like a symbiote, like a part of our life, like our cell phones. You know what I'm saying? But in a way in which the mushroom merges with us. When you eat the mushroom, it's taking you too. You know what I'm saying? Once the mushroom touches your saliva, this thing is already communicating, talking on the small level. On the very small level, it's talking, communicating, scanning, making sure your body, whatever, what you need, what type of things is in the way of you experiencing true reality. And so that's what we tell people when we are helping them go through these journeys and stuff like that. Is when we hold a space for them, is because the number one thing I hear from people is they're afraid of what they're going to see. Right? Anything that you see, this is millions of years old. It knows what you need to see in order for you to break through to get to a higher level. That's what it does. So it may bring up something that you that was painful for you, right? It may bring that up, but like I said, if you trust it and able to sit with it, being able to sit with yourself, you'll be able to sever like the emotional part to it and integrate like how it does, break down the non-useful, right, and turn it into something useful. This is what it does in our spirit, body, soul body, mind body, emotion body, whatever, physical body as well. All right, bet. Boom.
Okay, so on that point that you just made, does it know whether you need help? Like when you get to a certain point, and all of this is coming at you, the pain or whatever you have experienced in life, does it know how much you can handle? Or is it
What it does is stretching us to become more. So it will challenge at times. And what it's doing is pressing your tenacity. How bad do you want to know? Do you really want to know? It's not gonna. It's you know what I'm saying. It's presenting this thing, and then in our growth and maturity, we facing it, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing for you, but I need you to witness. Can you witness without the attachment? Can you witness without being? Because there's a part of us that wants to suffer. There's a part of us that feeds off of just like problems, you know what I'm saying, and being a victim. Oh, I got, I'm a such and such survivor, and you know what I'm saying. And these things become a part of what we think we are. So it's gonna break that down because it's trying to open you up to true reality. So anything that's in the way of you experiencing true reality, it's gonna break it down for you so that you can, you know what I'm saying? And so it rewards those that are courageous. those that are ready to face themselves. Get past it. You can get past it. You know what I'm saying? And if you trust it, then that's the reason why I talk about how ancient this thing is, because it knows. It already knows. It's been on Earth for 400 million years, but it came from outer space. It can survive out of space. You know what I'm saying? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
All right.
In the past, you said reading, helps you do your past. How about like your ancestors and like getting information not necessarily in the sense of like that generation or something that's bigger as well that you might not even know about. Like kind of just have that experience where you're able to get some messages from your ancestors or see them
Yes.
in a different light.
Yes. Okay, so your ancestors is a part of your DNA, right? Because their DNA is the same, you know what I'm saying, DNA. So they passed on all of their life experiences, and then their mother, and then their mother, and then their mother, right? All the way to you. So you have all of that, right? And so the mushroom opens us up to the non-visible. Non-visible meaning on the other side of hydrogen, right? We get into the subatomic, right? This is where we can understand that the spiritual realm is real. So when you commune with mushrooms, yes, you can access your ancestors, sit down and have a conversation with them. They can show you something that you need to pay attention to that they may have been trying to show you in your day-to-day life, and you're like, God dang, man, why I keep, you know what I'm saying? But then you take mushrooms and you be like, oh, grandma was trying to tell me to make sure I look up under the, you know what I'm saying, for to get the, you know what I mean? So, yes, it connects you with the spirit realm. Have y'all seen Black Panther? He laid down and they took the sacred plant and he went to the ancestor realm where he got the wisdom from. This is what it was used for. Like, this is the types of things that is used for. And we got ancient ancestors. Ancient. Alright, you go to her first.
So I wanted to expand on this elder's question, which will probably help support the other question. For those who are unaware or unprepared, is there a process that you prepare them for in order to take the journey?
Yes.
Where it's sacred, it's
Yes.
self-contained, all those different things.
Yes. So Sacred Earth Ministries is something that our family came up with, where we educate, number one, about what this thing is, so that you don't go into it with those misconceptions and what I seen on YouTube and all that type of stuff. Then we formulated a way in which to make it as comfortable going in as possible, you know what I'm saying, that we know of right now. So we equip people with tools to get used to sitting with themselves. Because the number one thing is, can you sit with yourself? Can you be with all of you?
Most people can't. That's why I asked the question.
Right. So we have like classes and program type things where like somebody might go through a 1 month container where they working on some things before they even go in. And one other thing that I offer is other plant medicines that can help get you ready for this sojourn, right? So just to touch on a couple since we right here, different practices like meditation, different practices like chanting, learning how to focus, learning how to sit, learning how to breathe, you know what I'm saying? Learning how to ask questions with self-inquiry that can help you go deeper into yourself for more understanding before you even get to it. Journaling, okay? Other plant medicines, some amazing plant medicines out here that do amazing work. Amazing work. One, for instance, Cambo. Cambo is a frog that is in Peru that the Mastis tribe figured out from taking ayahuasca, another plant medicine, and then they realized that they had a situation going on in their village where people was getting sick, so the shaman took the ayahuasca. The ayahuasca showed him this frog. So he went, he found this frog, and then he took the instructions, which was to get some of the secretions off the back of the frog and to open up gates on the arm and put the paste on the arm. Now this thing is super intelligent. It has these peptides in it that go into your body, yeast, parasites, all that stuff get wiped out, cleaning your whole system. It recharges your receptor sites. The receptor sites are how these molecules communicate with you. So when you take mushrooms, for instance, the molecular structure of psilocin, right, is able to attach to your serotonin receptor. It goes right in, right, but it does a different action. And so, so I like Cambo for clearing and cleansing, strengthening the aura, and all of that before I go into mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like in preparation for something, because I'm going in, I want to be clear, I want to be clean. And that's another one of the things we talk about and we teach is diet leading up to the experience. It's so important what you got in your gut. It's a lot going on in our gut. A lot going on in our gut. And you experience these things in your day-to-day life. Cravings and different things that you put into your body is coming from, you know what I'm saying, some of these parasites and yeast, they need to be fed. So, you know what I'm saying, all of those things affect your clarity. So when you take Cambo, that is a purge that takes place, right? But it's clearing you to be clear for when you go into the journey. Clear gut, way better journey. Empty stomach. So we support people in that way. So you get support before, and we're giving you other herbs and nutrients and stuff like that to get your mind and stuff ready to make sure that your what do you call it? Not electrolytes, but your amino acids are all balanced and everything. Because all of that plays a part. Because all this stuff is happening on a real small scale. So, yeah. So, did that answer your question? Okay. You complete? Well, you got something else? Sure. You can also raise your hand.
So, with regard to the psilocybin mushrooms, I'm sure there's a lot of different species of them. Is there any one that works better than, or different species used to bring them out with the thing?
Okay, so what we've seen, right, is they have different signatures to them, right? You can tell by the region of the world and how the society look, you know what I'm saying, in their paintings and pictures and the way that they built things and stuff like that. So that's the only difference. But as far as does the different mushrooms, it does, but most people is not going to really be able to tell per se on the doses that we taking and what we going in for and stuff like that. But it does have a certain character to it. You know what I'm saying? Like cubensis are the ones that we predominantly work with as a psilocybe. Cubensis, but we also have another one that grows from grassland. It doesn't grow on cow dung. This one is a little different in the character, and it's called Italiensis. But you basically psilocybin convinces to keep it simple, And now, of course, there's gonna be brands and all types of stuff. So let me say this too. This is about to be huge, okay? It's about to be huge. Like they spending 4 million to Harvard and these universities to do research, and they want to shape the narrative into, which is not bad, but some of the things like work good for depression and anxiety, PTSD, and then the pharmaceutical company wants to make it a drug, a pharmaceutical. Forget about the Mazteca, right, in the Oaxaca mountains, where Gordon Watson went to sit with one of the curanderos or the medicine women there, and recorded mushroom ceremony, and then brought that back to the U.S. But that tribe of people still exists. They've been keeping that lineage for thousands of years up in those mountains of taking the mushroom and using the mushroom as a healer and stuff like that. If y'all want to look that up, if y'all haven't heard of it. But so the pharmaceutical company is wanting to make it more medicinal. And to me, I feel as though those are side effects. Side effects don't always have to be bad. I think that you can't really be depressed if you have a first-hand experience with your connection to God. How depressed can you really get? You know what I'm saying? When you realize that you're not separate. Wait a minute. What is going on? You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to, be depressed and have these types of situations when you first-hand experience. And that's one of the things that a lot of religion took us out of, is first-hand experience. The only reason why the high priest was taking the mushrooms and conveying the message was because the mushrooms was getting short. So they're like, all right, everybody ain't gonna be able to go in. You know what I'm saying? And we the most advanced, so we going in and we'll tell y'all what happened. Right? But it's plentiful. You know what I'm saying? And direct experience is gonna be the thing that changes the DNA. The thing that is upgrading our species. People talk about evolution of humanity, we moving into 5D, and we ascending and all these different things, right? So the first thing when a person get into it is they like, man, nature, I just love being out in nature now, and then I can take my shoes off and I'm grounding. Okay, but you know what's also happening? Your feet touching the ground is something that don't normally happen. You know what I'm saying? You always want to, don't go out there with your shoes off. You know what I'm saying? But now your feet touching the ground, and what's under the ground? Mycelium. The mycelium. So boom, now mushrooms is popping up. You know what I'm saying? Mushrooms is popping up. This is nature answering our call. We want to raise the higher consciousness, and nature is like, oh, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Get connected back to the net. You know what I'm saying? By eating this thing, it's putting us back online. Our spiritual gifts and all of the things, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this shit is interwoven in your DNA. It's interwoven in your DNA. So how do they just lump mushrooms with heroin or lump mushrooms with cocaine, even though the coca leaf is used medicinally in some places? But what I'm saying is they lump it all in there, and then it's like it's not good for anything. So now they're bringing this revolution back with this medical model of how it can have medicinal effects that can help people in mental health. This is a breakthrough in mental health right now. The mushroom. Breakthrough. More effective than any medicine that they've made. The therapies and all of this stuff. Okay, so they this is stuff is about to be big. They already have people building retreat centers that you can go to take mushrooms on islands in Jamaica, wherever this thing becomes decriminalized and stuff like that, or whatever they do. Then they, set up shop. You go pay $5,000, and you can sit with the mushroom. You know what I'm saying, and have your experience. It's out there, and it's becoming more and more. But what we want to do is make this thing knowledgeable, accessible to the everyday person, because it's your birthright. But this thing has been working with us forever. It's responsible for our evolution. Its theories about the first language, like when we first started to speak, it came from ingestion of mushrooms. If you follow, what's the guy that made he made a documentary on Netflix. Stamets, Paul Stamets. He made a whole documentary. No, it's Paul Stamets.
Oh, the fantastic Fungi.
Right, Fantastic Fungi on Netflix, where he talked about how he had a speech impediment and he ate mushrooms, and this took his speech impediment away. His speech impediment was gone. He tell you the story about it. This thing is miraculous. They don't call it magic for nothing, right? And once you get past like the healing phase of like, you know what I'm saying, being okay with yourself, you're no longer a victim of life. You understand that life is happening through you, and you know what I'm saying, it's not like happening to you, like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of this whole thing. You're a part of this whole thing. In order for us to even play in this game, right, we have to breathe breath. From breathing, we're able to even be able to experience ups, downs, or whatever. Something crazy happened, the first thing they be like, all right, calm down, breathe. Why? Because being connected to your breath brings you back to the very essence of this experience. This is the ultimate VR experience that we having right now. This is our suit, a technology. You can feel, and everything is so real. You know what I'm saying? But when you get back to the essence of it and you observe the breath is what got us animated and involved. If somebody choke you and cut your air off, you lose what? Consciousness. What are we breathing? What are we breathing? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we breathing then? Like, this is crazy. Okay, so I got a question. Are you breathing or are you being breathed? Think about that for 1 second. Are you breathing or are you being breathed? It's functions in our body that we don't have to think about in order for them to take place. They happen. A woman can conceive and have a baby, but she's not saying zygote split. Okay, formulate heart. It's not a brain thing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's the intelligence that's built in that just is doing this thing, multiplying, bringing it together. Boom. Next thing you know, you got a whole nother human being in your belly. And then when you're ready to deliver it, your body transforms. Because I see my daughter being born. And I had every emotion in the world. Absolutely unreal. Right? How the woman body could just open up like that, and amazing. Amazing. Right? Through the contractions and stuff. But she's not commanding that. That's divine intelligence. That's interwoven into this thing. What, anybody got something they want to share, say, ask? What's up?
Do you have any like resources or recommendations like for people that are maybe interested in going that way, but they don't know how it might interact with like medications that they take or like is it?
All right, so the number one thing about the medications is this. First of all, disclaimer. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I am not a doctor. Okay? All right. So what we have seen is that people that take SRI, serotonin receptor uptake, or something like that, right? If you take SRIs, then it could already be blocking the receptor site because you got the receptor site, and then the mushroom is trying to connect in your neurons, right? It's trying to connect, but it can't because it's already occupied by serotonin. I mean the medicine that you're probably taking for. So we have had people that microdose and kind of wean themselves off of the SRI and then able to feel the effects. The medicine is putting a band-aid on a problem, right? Where plant medicine like Iboga and stuff like that resets your dopaminergic system to allow you to not have those same blockages in your progression of what you're trying to do, you know, because, you know, we're motivated by things, it's all biochemical, you know what I'm saying? And our dopamine reward system is it's out of whack for, you know, with the foods and, you know what I'm saying? It's out of whack. So by resetting this thing, that's like cleaning out the cache in your computer and reorganizing your files and, you know, giving you a nice internal drive clean so that now you can function in a way that you're more aware. So like things that you would do habitually without thinking about it on autopilot, when those situations come up, now you like choosing. I normally would do this, but I don't want to do that this time. You try this. It makes it a lot easier and swifter to be aware of yourself, being aware in the suit, being aware that this is your technology, you know, that you're, you know, moving with, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the medication thing, yeah, if you're taking like a lot of depressing medications and stuff like that, yeah, it could be in the way from you experiencing what it has to offer you because the site is already occupied.
Can I just add to that? We assess on a case-by-case basis, right? Because we're meeting you at wherever you are on your journey, right? And so the thing that we assess before we bring you into a mushroom experience is what is the roots of why you're taking the medication. Can we bring awareness to that first and begin to work with that outside of the mushroom experience to give you tools to be able to work with whatever that is? And that is different for everyone. Yeah. But we have worked with people who come with complex PSD, ADHD, anxiety, who've been taking medication for years. And we have many testimonials of people who no longer are on the medication and are more in tune with their natural way of being. Medication typically wants to bring you in alignment with something that is not in alignment with the way that you are supposed to be operating.
How much time do you generally set aside in ceremony or however?
Okay, so I would say about 6 hours. And I know when I said 6 hours, somebody in here was like, God damn, 6 hours? Like I'm about to waste 6 hours of my life laying in the bed? Be the best laying in the bed you ever had. Like, I'm so serious. Like, that's one of the things, man. Sometimes people, make you be like, I'm ready to come out now. But it's a dedication, you know what I'm saying? You like, you know what, I'm about to devote 6 hours. It may not be 6 hours. It might only be 4. But you gotta come down, you wanna, be in your body, you wanna kinda contemplate the things that you just witnessed and experienced and write or record or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then you don't just want to just be like, oh, after what? Oh, let me go to work. You don't want to just do it in the middle of doing some other stuff. So, I like to do mine when I got a day off, 2 days off, you know what I'm saying? And then, then I got a day to just kind of just chill and just, really reflect on what I got. But, babe, you want to...
Yeah, just to speak to that, for like 2 things is you really want to give yourself like 36 hours because what happens is when you take psilocybin, you are making your brain go from concrete to putty. So you want to take advantage of the window of opportunity when your brain is more fluid to be in that space. Right, so when you come out of a journey, that is the best opportunity to begin to notice what it is that you want to impart into your life, right? Many of us like, oh, I want to exercise, or I want to have a more positive attitude, or I want to stop arguing with my spouse, or whatever it may be. That's your opportunity to integrate those new behaviors because your brain is more susceptible. You're in a suggestible state where you can begin to talk to yourself about what you just witnessed and how you can begin to integrate that into your everyday reality. So you don't just want to think of it as like, okay, 6 hours, I did my journey, and now I'm done. No, for the next day and a half, you're still in the journey. The medicine is still working actively in your system. Your brain won't begin to... Your default mode network, which is where we're all programmed, which is how we operate in this reality, is not going to fully come back online for 36 hours. So you want to take the opportunity when that is down to tap into yourself.
But you're not going to be in the journey literally, 36 hours. But the medicine is still working in your system. Yo.
Just to add to that, when you are journeying, the things that you learn on the journey, like he was saying, yoga positions, and you might get some mudras, and pay attention to what those mudras doing. Like if you hold in a certain mudra and your brain clears, that means that mudra is going to clear your brain. So when you need your brain clear outside of the experience, go back to those same things because the mushroom is teaching you potential and different things. But just continue with everything you learn.
Whatever you come out with, continue that on. Because that's how it's teaching you. It's hands-on, first-hand experience learning. Hands-on, first-hand experience learning. There's no intermediary. There's nobody in between. I'm not going to interpret nothing for nobody. You know what I'm saying? It'll be clear for you. You can ask the right questions to get to the clarity. That's what she specializes in. But yeah, anybody got any more questions? Okay.
When you're just starting out, how often do you think a person should? I know everybody's different, but
yeah. So what I suggest is if you're just starting out and you do it, let's just say you did it today, then wait 30 days, let that integrate. You know what I'm saying? You can probably work with some other plant medicines, and then but making sure that you're paying attention to all the things, because this thing is very powerful, like how it works, because you might shift awareness or shift a perspective in the journey, and then when you come out, people might be responding to you different. you know what I'm saying? You're getting a different type of response from what your efforts are. Or you may see people just disappear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or, I mean, not disappear like they just be like, "Wait." But I'm just saying, like, your vibration changes, so everything that's able to be in your experience may shift or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Based on, you know, what you shifted in your journey. Like, you might have a defense mechanism because somebody said you ugly when you was little. So now you be like, she must think I'm ugly, or I know this, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, right? But then you might go in, shift that whole perspective, right? And then people looking at you, you just looking at them right in the eye, saying, "Hey," and then they like, "I just wanted to tell you, your glasses are so beautiful. Where did you get those?" You know what I'm saying? But you might have been giving off a vibe before based upon your old experience, like, better not say nothing to me. So they just like, "Damn, I like them glasses, but I ain't about to say nothing." You know what I'm saying? But now that you done worked through that, you don't got that complex, so that's not your reality. So now you just like, "Hey, how you doing?" "Nice glasses." It's different. And that's just a small shift. But things shift and your reality changes. It's all interwoven. It's all interwoven. And that's the reason why they call it magic. Because it's all interwoven. And I just want to say this for the record. Like, I'm 5.5 years into this. But I'm an explorer. And I love to go deep into this thing. And it has changed so much in me, right? And I do not know it all about this thing. This thing is the grand mystery. It's the grand mystery. So anybody that be like, "Oh, I'm a mushroom master," they run. Run. Because they is not the mushroom master. Nobody is. Like, no. And there's no bottom to this thing. It can go as deep as you are able to. So, no, it's all good. I love questions better than just talking.
I guess, like, what does it reveal about your gifts, or like as other, if you observe other people's journeys, like what things are really meant to them, like gift wise. From my experience, I feel like I'm blessed with a lot of gifts, but I don't know exactly.
So you
like,
must have
the
unlocked
purpose or
some
how
gifts.
to tie it together and.
You must have unlocked some gifts on mushrooms.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to do something there, but we still figuring it.
Yeah, it's you know, it's I've seen people get more confident because these things it's already there, you know what I'm saying? But get more confidence and just more awareness of, like, you know, or your intuition, your ability to read situations, the room, a person, your sensitivity to tone. You might, you know what I'm saying? I mean, some stuff, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Is yeah. But to answer your question, yeah.
Some of this stuff is on the next level.
Yeah, it's another level. But yeah, unlocking gifts and inner power and things like that come from your tenacity and your courage to face yourself and, you know what I'm saying, understand yourself and just go deeper within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you're unlocking these things. And it's not just like a walk in the park, you know what I'm saying, with some of these things. Yeah, many nights, yeah, I've been just, you know, bumping around in the dark trying to get to it. But it's rewarding, and, you know, you get to really see yourself. But so to answer your question, yes, clairvoyance, telepathy for sure. and different healing. Healing. You want to add something?
Are you asking that question because you have worked with mushrooms and are you
I've done it too. Like I've had a trip
and you
or a
seen
mushroom
something?
ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you seen something about yourself?
I feel like well, the ones I had people hold space for me, so it was like I was able to release a lot.
Uh-huh.
But the part of my journey I am in now is like I've become more aware of like some of my, I guess to me the way I've been thinking has been kind of setbacks. Like for instance, ADHD, depression, anxiety, I deal with all of it. So just, but I also feel like it's almost like you said, the medicine they don't really fix it.
Right.
Cause I'm still experiencing those symptoms, if that makes sense.
Right.
It might like put them at bay to a certain extent. So I feel like it's something greater than what they have a name for. Like,
Yes.
It's got to be like a superpower. or
It
something.
is.
I just need to learn how to like.
And that's the reason why I like the term neurodivergent, because this is not nothing. You're not broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
just ain't like met that frequency yet or figured it out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Understanding how your mind works, how your mind works, and you'll get it.
Yeah, I gotta harness it.
Yeah, you'll begin to get it. It's not just. It might not be an overnight thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's I've been on it. I've been like on it for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? 5.5 years. I'm truly amazed at what I've experienced is mind blowing. What I'm able to bring back and convey, like, because even within me just talking right now, it's a lot more happening than just me talking. Like, y'all are sharing in my experience because it's within my field. So everybody that's here, your field is picking up the things that I've downloaded into my field or unlocked or open. And so it's a lot of remembrance and communication going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
To add to that, so we use systems like human design, right? So we look at what the cosmos was doing when you collaborated with the cosmos to incarnate, based on your unique human design that will not be repeated for 24,000 plus years. The cosmos will never ever line up the way they did when you decided to come. So you are a unique cosmic event, right? The way the cosmos lined up created your human design, which is the way that your suit works. So we take your human design and help you to understand how your suit works before you go into mushrooms. So that is in your consciousness. So now when you go into mushrooms to explore your consciousness, you have the blueprint of how your suit works, which will help you to tap into your gifts and abilities.
That's what I'm trying to tap in.
Yes.
Oh yeah. If you eating the sacred fruit, you're definitely tapping.
You're
in.
tapped in.
And then when you add those types of things to your conscious mind, like human design, that type of thing, it helps you to be able to understand the mechanics of your body.
So you do, I know we talked about this yesterday, but when you talk about the birth, the birth charts and human design, do you have to have the exact time of birth in order for it to create the best accuracy?
The best accuracy, yes, you want to know your time of birth. We could give you some general, right? Because there are some things that don't change if you don't know your time, but knowing your time gives you exact. So we know exactly what's happening because the sky changes every 2 hours. So every 2 hours, the horizon is shifting to a new zodiac. There's 12, right? So based on where the horizon is, which is kind of the most important thing, right, for you to know, that will give you certain characteristics and archetypes that you have access. But without that, right, the way our suits are designed, just like Kiani talked about, we are the original organic AI. So your brain is already wired in a way that I want to know my gifts. When you come into an opportunity and somebody asks you to do something and then you do it, they're like, oh, I just love the way you do that. You're like, oh, that's nothing. It's you. You got to believe when your spirit is showing you about yourself that yes, this is myself. This is the answer to the question that I'm seeking.
Can I ask what your reason is again?
Yeah, I'm a 3-5 generator, and my astrology is I'm a Sagittarius rising, Taurus sun, and Pisces moon. So I'm super intuitive. Yeah, like I don't need you to say anything. I can read your whole energy.
So, how everybody feeling? Anybody got anything else you might want me to touch on? There's so much to touch on, and I want to make sure that it's kind of satisfying everybody appetite.
You can go ahead.
One more thing, and I'm not gonna ask.
No, you good.
Can you speak to microdosing versus
Microdosing? Yeah, so microdosing technically is supposed to be sub-threshold, meaning that you're not going to necessarily feel the effects readily. So it's kind of like happening in the background. Now this is just, microdosing is also good as we aging, right? 46 right now. And it keeps your brain, like the neuroplasticity of your brain, like the fluidity and, you know what I'm saying, it's not rigid. Once your brain becomes rigid, you know what I'm saying, that's when it opens up for, you know, all the time, you know what I'm saying, that type of stuff. So we want to keep our brain able to learn and wanting, you know, so that way it stays. So now the microdosing is good for a lot of things, the depression, the stuff that we talked about, PTSD, all of those things, with tools. Because we found that if you combine taking microdoses with doing other things like yoga, meditation, chanting, journaling, human design, all these types of things, it helps to integrate all of these things, giving you a more overall well-being, sense of well-being. Yeah, so the macro dose is for you to do healing work, communication with the ancestor type work, learning more about yourself, you know what I'm saying, and going into the mystery the deeper you go. So now those you're going to be going into a journey. But I want to make this clear real quick. In no way, shape, form, or fashion, you are not getting high. You are not getting high in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's turning what's off on. You just haven't experienced having a multi-dimensional consciousness, or, you know what I'm saying? You just haven't experienced the chakras all activated, your third eye, now you can close your eyes and see things, and you can ask questions and go to that place, or, you know what I'm saying? We just not used to that. But this is activation, not getting high at all. No way, shape, form, or fashion. So we don't mix this with alcohol and all other things. I mean, people grown, they can do what they want to do. But the mushroom is a sentient being. It's a sentient being. So we want to approach it with respect. You know what I'm saying? We want to have good intentions, be in a good space. You know what I'm saying? Being in a safe environment and having someone that is experienced to hold the space for you, but not to interfere with what you're doing. You don't need that. You know what I'm saying? This is for you to build yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you will become more.
edibles. I hear people do edibles, mixing gummies or chocolate.
Yeah, so I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes, offend nobody, or nothing like that. But I take this serious. This is like my way of life. It's the entheogenic path. So mushrooms is referred to as an entheogen. Entheogen in theos. Theos means God, right? And gen, to generate. To generate the God within you. This is bringing you to a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness. It's not a game. People that's mixing it with different things, they're leaving themselves open for bad trips, so to speak. And it's bad because you're not in the mindset of doing the real work. You just took some mushrooms, now you popping Molly, and you know what I'm saying, you in the club, and then a life experience happens, and you like, yo, what the because you just see your grandma at the bar, like, you know what I'm saying, now you running out the bar like, man, goddamn, my grandma in there, like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But like the gummies, like the gummies and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's personal preference, you know what I'm saying, for whoever. Like I say, for me, I don't do the gummies, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like cacao
Oh yeah.
and mushroom. Cacao and mushrooms been going together since the ancient Maya. But gummies is unpredictable and it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, it can be dangerous because you're not looking at it as sacred. You're not in the right mindset. You're not in the right setting. You're not taking it serious. So if something serious happens, and you know what I'm saying, you get a serious message or a serious wake-up call, then it's not matching your environment or your mindset. So you like, yo, what? No, hold up. You know, and now you're just trying to stop it. You can't, you know what I'm saying? And then you end up having a traumatic experience, you know what I'm saying, all over, just not. That's why we doing what we doing. Sharing the message to change the narrative of this thing. This thing is spiritual. It's been around for thousands of years. This right here is a picture of hieroglyphics with somebody giving mushrooms to another person. I got like 50 slides of like showing you in ancient Egypt, in the Temple of Hathor, they're carrying a basket full of mushrooms. The Eleusinian mysteries in Greece, they giving mushrooms. This has been something for a long time. It's nothing new. It's the remembrance that's coming back that now we're responding to the call. Mother Nature is beckoning through these mushrooms for us to raise our consciousness. We got to raise the vibrations of the planet, our consciousness. The answer is a lot of things, but it's also coming from the network, you know what I'm saying, to get back online. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wouldn't mess with the guy. They trying to commercialize it and make it like, you know what I'm saying? Don't mess with it. That's just my advice. Come on, I know somebody.
Is there like a mellow mushroom, like maybe nothing that's trippy, but something like, you know, you have reishi mushrooms and what have you. Is there a comfortable in between?
Different species of mushrooms.
Yeah.
I think this is what you asked.
Yeah.
Different species of mushrooms is used for different things.
Yeah.
So like reishi mushroom is referred to as the mushroom of immortality. So that mushroom, turkey tail, cordyceps, all of these mushrooms are very good for reducing cancer, all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Good for your brain health, lion's mane, the neuroplasticity that we talk about. Yeah, all of those are great for the medicinal qualities that they provide. they have more. Fungi is its own thing. It's not a plant. So all mushrooms that are edible, that are medicinal, they offer a lot to humans. You know what I'm saying? That's our closest relative in that world. You know what I'm saying? They're more closer to humans than plants. But yeah, so those are medicinal mushrooms that you can utilize. What we talking about is mainly psilocybin containing mushrooms to that evolve our consciousness and upgrade species. But yeah, but we use other mushrooms in conjunction with what we do. Like lion's mane is one, stuff like that. So yeah, do your research on mushrooms in general. Adding mushrooms to your diet is just an overall good thing, for sure. Okay, so she want to share. This is my daughter, and she want to share something about her experience with mushrooms.
So I've only microdosed, but I've always been like very intuitive, clairvoyant, had a lot of experiences, especially like when I was early. So even with microdosing, I had really unique experiences with healing, with ancestors, and things like that, even with just microdosing when I had did previous affirmations and learning that I really was healing. I got to see a lot of work related to my wound. I got to see the effects of like sexual trauma when I was a youth. Somebody said something about connecting with your ancestors earlier. One thing that I learned on my personal trip was that as a woman, you are your ancestors. So the pain and the trauma that you're healing are for your lineage, it's for your bloodline, which made me more in like real life more open to healing those things than suppressing them and like burying them down. But I will say, like, while I was microdosing, I realized there's a lot of things, like, you have years of things that are pulling you away from yourself, that's pulling you away from your gifts, that's like watering all of those things down, so it's a lot that you have to dig up. I did occupational a couple times. I already seen a lot, like in my dreams and stuff like that, so I wasn't that interested, I was more so scared. But I realized just like how fear, like in your everyday life, you experience it beforehand. Like you're terrified of something, you feel like it's gonna be the death of you, and then you're in it, and you're just in it. It's just gone. Like the fear is not real. So even it's the same way with the shrooms. Like you start off scared, but there's only so much space for fear, and then you're just in the experience. So that was my experience.
Right.
Oh, yeah, she amazing. Yeah, she definitely is. Because with this thing, man, you have your own personal experiences, and you want to tell everybody, and you just like, sometimes you probably even scare people. You like, oh my God, you gotta try this. Come sit with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, it's everybody's free will, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's free will, but, yeah, this is it. So how y'all think? Y'all think I covered a lot of things?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate y'all so much. And this means a lot to me to be able to even share my experiences, because most of them has been just me and my lady. You know what I'm saying? And then we share with other people, but not like this. You know what I'm saying? And this was the beginning of something that's about to be expansive. I'm going to be doing this more. This just got me really open to want to share more and more. But yeah, the answer to our prayers and all that, like whatever you was wanting advance and stuff like that. It's here. It's here.
We're here next Sunday, right?
No,
I'm ready to come back every Sunday.
I live in Georgia, so yeah. If I did live in
Next Sunday, we have the Cannabis Grow Series. It's our start for our, what's it, 5 week? No, 5 months. Once a month, we'll be doing classes here on how to grow your own plant medicine in the form of cannabis. The 13th is just how to get your situation started. You making sure you got the right genetics, make sure you got your soil right, your structure, if you're going to grow inside or outside, whatever that's going to look like. So yeah, you can definitely tap in our website. You can go on there to sign up, register for that.
What time is that?
I think it'll be, we said 11?
11 to 2.
11 to 2. So around the same time. Let's do that. Yeah. So that'll be the 13th. I think the next Sunday actions will be starting in May. We'll be doing plant-based meat, which is it's a vegan, mutual aid, potluck, right? So a lot of folks be like, yo, I'm vegan, I'm new to the space, I don't know what